Pianist and singer-songwriter Eden Brent is from Mississippi and the winner of 3 Blues Music Awards. She was 19 when she started taking lessons from the late blues pioneer Boogaloo Ames, who called her Little Boogaloo. Though she went to college to study music, it was her 16-year apprenticeship with Ames that taught her to boogie-woogie. Her latest album is called Jigsaw Heart, and Eden Brent joins me in the studio. Hi, Eden. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
What's the boogie-woogie piano style?
Well, Boogie-woogie focuses a lot on the left hand or the bass, and essentially keeps the rhythm going. Boogie-woogie piano, I think, is popular and famous from back when there was no amplification, and so the piano was a louder instrument than guitar without amps, and the lower end of the piano would carry through a loud bar room or speakeasy.
Will you let us hear a little bit of it? Just give us a little example.
Well, let me put these on so I can hear myself. Yeah. But just the left hand. That's boogie-woogie. Just an example.
So how did you meet Abie Ames?
Well, you know, Boogaloo was just a staple of music around the town that I grew up in, Greenville, Mississippi. So I'd heard him at a lot of parties and restaurants. You know, anytime there was a social event, Boogaloo would perform. And I don't really remember the first time I met him. I know that I heard him dozens and dozens of times. And he played my sister's wedding reception when I was 16. And so, you know, I was intrigued with him, but because of the age gap, it just never occurred to me that he would take me on as a student.
But what was it about his style that really appealed to you, that made you want to study with him?
Because when he played, everybody seemed happy. When he played a song, people's feet started tapping, or they snapped their fingers, or they had smiles on their faces. Everybody loved Boogaloo. I wanted to be like him when I grew up. I still do.
How did he get the nickname Boogaloo? Where did that come from?
You know, well, he said that he got it out in Las Vegas from the Rat Pack.
From the Rat Pack.
That's what he said. And, you know, I think the boogie-woogie style and also the Boogaloo was a kind of a famous dance style back in the 60s. So that it seems like a natural fit for him. Boogaloo sounds like, it's one of those onomatopoeias. It sort of sounds like what it is. It's a jovial kind of a word, and that's the kind of person he was too.
You said that he changed your life.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know, I mean, musically, of course, I would never have been able to play the piano like I do without his influence. But you know, also just the human being that I am, learning how to enjoy life and appreciate successes, not just financial successes. I mean, certainly it's good to be able to pay the rent. That's important. But it's also it's important to feel like you've self-achieved, that you've made an achievement, no matter whether you are getting some sort of monetary gain from that achievement. It's not relevant. You know, to feel as though you've accomplished something and to enjoy the pleasures and have experience the joy of life without it being tied to these material successes. And that's what Boogaloo was really all about. I mean, he was about kindness and generosity. He was a poor man, you know, financially poor, but rich in so many other ways, rich in spirit and a very generous person. So he taught me all of those things.
Eden Brent is in the studio with me. She's a pianist, singer, and a songwriter. She's from Mississippi, and her album is called Jigsaw Heart. Boogaloo grew up in the segregated South in Mississippi before moving to Detroit. Did he talk to you about what that was like?
Never. Well, I think it kind of gets back to what his spirit was all about. He didn't focus on trials of life or the difficulties of life. He was much more one to celebrate the joys of life than lament the sadnesses or the failures. So he didn't speak to me a lot about problems that he'd had, and you know, just knowing the guy that he was, I have a feeling that he was able to charm anybody, no matter the demographic, you know, no matter what part of town they came from or what color they were or what age they were. He was very, very charming and likable person.
Why do you think he took you on as a student?
I don't know. Maybe I was cute back then.
You're still cute.
Well, yeah, I think it's probably hard not to want to be around somebody who is so crazy about you. And I really was so crazy about him. And Boogaloo didn't have any children, so he didn't have any grandchildren. I mean, he had step-grandchildren, of course, you know, people who kind of adopted him. But I think that having somebody like a child or a granddaughter was also maybe part of it that appealed to him. But, you know, naturally our mutual love of music is the thing that brought us together. First, and furthermore, he knew my parents first before he met me. So he was really kind of like part of the family anyway.
He died in 2002.
Right.
What do you think he would say about this new album of yours?
Oh gosh, I think he'd be really proud. I mean, he was always proud of me when I wrote new things. I think he'd be very, very pleased that there's a boogie number on the album. I definitely think he would be able to hear his influence and his harmonies, and also, you know, just the pianistic styles he showed me.
So, Eden, why don't you play something for us?
Sure.
Set it up, whatever you're going to play, tell us about it, and then go ahead and do it.
Sure. Well, I think since we're talking about Boogaloo, why don't I do the Boogie-woogie song? This song here, years ago, a friend of mine named Little Bill Wallace, who was a blues man, he viewed me in a bar. We're in a bar together, and there's a fella that I have a crush on. And this is not a relationship that the community would be supportive of. Well, it was an inappropriate relationship budding between me and this gentleman. And my friend, Little Bill Wallace, said, "Baby, you messing up." And I hadn't had a date with the fella yet, but Little Bill was explaining to me in so few words that everybody in town could see that me and this fella kind of had the hots for each other and that maybe we'd better cool it down. So I wrote this song about that occasion and just about small town gossip and so forth. It's called Everybody Already Knows. Everybody's talking, the news is all over town. So it ain't no big secret that you and me is messing around. We can try to be a bit more discreet, but it's clear just what you're doing to me, yeah, yeah. We ain't gotta tell nobody, they already know. They already know. They already know. Whoa, already know. Everybody already knows, already know. Oh, already know. Oh, we can shout it out loud to every single crowd, 'cause everybody already knows. Yeah, the rumor mill is grinding whether we like it or not. And now that it's grinding, ain't no rumor gonna make me stop. We can try to slow what we started to save the soon broken hearted, but we ain't gotta tell nobody, they already know. They already know. They already know. Oh, yeah, they already know. Everybody already knows, they care, 'cause everybody already knows. We can't cool the pop of the fires, but we're too hot. And when we are together, I'm digging everything that you got. How can something so good be wrong? I don't believe it's possible, no, no. We ain't gotta tell nobody, they already know. They already know. They already know. Oh, they already know. Everybody already knows, already know. Oh, they already know. Oh, you can see it plain as day, all over my face. Everybody already knows. They're shouting out loud, every single crowd, 'cause everybody already knows. Yeah, you can call it unfair, don't nobody care, 'cause everybody already knows. Everybody already knows.
Eden Brent, a pianist, singer, and songwriter. Her album is called Jigsaw Heart, and she's singing Everybody Already Knows. Eden, what ended up happening with that relationship?
Well, everybody already knew, and then I knew that my friend was right, and we cooled it.
Good for you.
We cooled it right on down. But I got a good song out of it.
You did. Did you always know that you wanted a career in music?
Probably. Even since I was a little kid, I enjoyed performing. When I was maybe in the first or second grade, I participated in a community theater production of The Sound of Music. And I didn't have a big part. I was just a part of the chorus. But I had one line in that Doe a Deer song that sings the scale. I don't even remember what the line was, but I remember being on the stage and loving it. And I always enjoyed going and performing at the retirement homes in my community as an elementary student. I always participated in talent shows at school. And I always loved music. So I wasn't sure exactly what my career would be. I mean, I wasn't sure if I would be primarily a teacher who just performed for family and friends, or exactly how it would all work out, or even what genre I would wind up following most closely. But I always knew that I loved music too much not to have it be the essential part of my life.
Now, Boogaloo taught himself how to play the piano, but you took lessons.
I did. Well, and Boogaloo came up at a time when Boogaloo's mother played piano, so I'm sure he got some lessons from her. But back during the days that Boogaloo was performing, people kind of learned from each other. Apprenticeship was the primary way that people learned, much more so than taking what we consider traditional lessons now, which really aren't that kind of traditional. I mean, apprenticeship is more traditional than learning notes, first and so forth. So I did take lessons and studied music in college, but it was combining the academic musical education that I'd gotten with the very practical apprenticeship that Boogaloo offered me. I think those two things went together so well to make the magic really work.
I understand that your family is kind of musical.
We are.
And they met Johnny Cash and Elvis?
Oh, yes, yes. Now, my daddy met Johnny Cash years and years ago as a college student. My dad's college career lasted, it was a little bit longer than his bull riding career. His bull riding career lasted 3 seconds.
Before he fell off?
That's right. And his college career lasted just a few weeks or maybe months. But he was out at Texas A&M and met Johnny Cash passing through, and then years later met Johnny Cash again. Also as a college student at Texas A&M, Elvis Presley came to the college to do a performance. And of course, Elvis at this time was performing solo. There was no band with him or anything. I believe this is 1955. And so he came through and was talking to some of the students, and he was maybe just 1 year older than my dad at the time. And of course, Elvis was very interested in, what good grief. At that time, Texas A&M was a military school just for young fellas only. And Elvis was real interested in what these poor guys did without a date. Then my mother wound up meeting Elvis in 1956. By the time he'd had a big hit, he came back to Tupelo, Mississippi. Elvis Presley did a big concert that you'll see a lot of footage of if you watch an Elvis documentary, and she met him there. So my parents, before they even knew each other, had both met Elvis. And a lot of people in Mississippi have Elvis stories. I think he got around pretty good bit.
Eden Brent is in the studio with me. She's talking about her album called Jigsaw Heart. She's a piano player, a singer, and a songwriter from Mississippi. What does Jigsaw Heart mean?
Well, my whole family is musical, as we've talked about. And my younger sister, Bronwyn, wrote a song where she's describing love as being a game. And that's kind of an old idea. I mean, a lot of writers have mentioned love being some kind of game, or what game are you trying to play? And my older sister, Jessica, wrote a song about how many pieces would a broken heart make. Both my sisters are great songwriters and very prolific songwriters. And I inspired by the both of them, I kind of put the two together, a jigsaw puzzle being sort of a game, and then thinking about the puzzle pieces of a broken heart, and the fact that I've never been able to complete a jigsaw puzzle because I never could find all the pieces. I mean, I don't know if that extra 2 or 3 pieces was hiding under the couch or if they got vacuumed up in the vacuum cleaner. But even if I got close to completing it, it never happened. So I was inspired by them, but I was just thinking about that idea. And in fact, jigsaw and heart being words that you kind of don't think of as fitting together, and jigsaw heart being pieces of a puzzle that you're trying to put back together, and the fact that the jigsaw itself is what's required to make those misshapen pieces of the puzzle. So it just kind of started out as an intellectual idea, but.
So how is this album different than your previous albums?
I think I intentionally tried to make it celebrate a little bit more of my country influences. So I wanted to record in Nashville. Also, I wanted to grow as a musician, to continue to develop and change and learn new things, and so it's a little bit different in that I tried to write songs that maybe celebrated more of the country influences that I'd had as a youngster.
When you perform, you seem like you're really enjoying yourself. What do you like the most about performing live?
I like communicating with people, and it's I think I like that. I mean, I don't sit at home and play a lot. I do some, but it's a different kind of an experience, because when I'm performing a song, then I get a feeling from the audience. They're getting a feeling from me, and I'm getting a feeling from them. And then sometimes they'll even be verbal exchanges.
People yell stuff out while you're
Sure.
singing.
Sure, people holler out a request or just holler out something funny. I try to put a little comedy into my live act. I like the communication bit of it. I don't think of it as a monologue. I think of it as a dialogue, definitely. And I mean, it's interesting that two different audiences might respond to the same song in two different ways completely. And that, I mean, it's a collective feeling that an audience gets. And it doesn't matter if it's just two people or if it's 1,000 people. People get a feeling from each other. And so naturally, I, as the performer, get that feeling along with them. And the audience then can lead me to another place, maybe someplace that I need to go, not just emotionally, but even as far as what song am I going to do next? So I like that about it, the surprise of it all.
And the creative process when you're writing a song, do you think about, is it something on your mind that you want to get off your chest, or are you thinking about a message that you want to get across to people?
Sometimes it's something just comes to me. That's happened with several songs. With Jigsaw Heart, that was an intellectual idea. The whole idea of putting those two words that seemingly don't go together, putting those together, I think that was a process that happened over a period of weeks. Other songs are just mad inspiration that happens all of a sudden. It's different. I come to a song in different ways. Sometimes it's a certain melody. Sometimes it's a certain chord progression that I'm fooling with. Unfortunately, I'm not so prolific that I have, or maybe fortunately, I don't have some formula. There's a lot of great songwriters who write a song just like a quilter would make another quilt. They have a real process, and I don't have a real process to my songwriting. I do think I have certain patterns, like rhyming patterns or overall song form that maybe that recur in my songwriting, but mostly I'm just flying by the seat of my pants.
Eden Brent is in the studio with me. She's a pianist, singer, and songwriter, and the album is called Jigsaw Heart. Okay, let's hear another song.
Sure. This is a song inspired by my two sisters' songwriting, and it's the title cut of this brand new album. It's called Jigsaw Heart. Didn't take long for you to be my cowboy angel. Not a stranger, how the tables get turned. Must have been trying to fool us both into believing, oh, it's self-deceiving, that I can't get burned. Have you got what it takes to unbreak my heart? Can you gather up the scattered pieces when I fall apart? Put them back together in order like they were from the start. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jigsaw puzzle, puzzle of a jigsaw heart. Yes, I thought that falling in love was my climb to fame. Oh, it ain't enough blame to go around. Even with the misplaced pieces, baby, you complete me. Oh, you can't beat me at my own game. Have you got what it takes to unbreak my heart? Can you gather up the scattered pieces when I fall apart? Put them back together in order like they were from the start. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jigsaw puzzle, puzzle of a jigsaw heart. A jigsaw heart, it's a doggone shame. And if it's too complicated, well, it drive us both away. Are you still gonna be around when I finally come crashing down? Jigsaw puzzle, puzzle of a jigsaw heart. Yeah, have you got what it takes to unbreak my heart? Can you gather up the scattered pieces when I fall apart? Put them back together in order like they were from the start. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jigsaw puzzle, puzzle of a jigsaw heart. Jigsaw puzzle, puzzle of a jigsaw heart. Yeah, jigsaw puzzle, puzzle of a jigsaw heart.
Eden Brent, pianist, singer, and songwriter from Mississippi. That album is called Jigsaw Heart. Eden, thanks so much for being on the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.